Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And happy Tuesday to you. Today is Tuesday, March the 14th, 2023, and we are here. It's shortly after the 10 a.m. hour. We're here at 903 Main Street in the Rockdale Auditorium. Commissioners, today is March the 14th. That means it's the middle of the month.
It's also Pi Day.
It's also what day?
Pi Day.
Pi Day. Okay.
If you're a math teacher, you know what
Okay.
that is.
All right. I'm not a math teacher, but I know you are.
No,
and
I didn't do
and
math,
that's a
but-
perfect segue for me to acknowledge the young people who are here from Wilson Academy. If you all will stand, we want to acknowledge you and give you a round of applause from Wilson Academy. Thank you so much. We're so glad to have you. I believe, Commissioners, that these young people who represent Wilson Academy, one of our fine institutions of private education and learning here in Rockdale County, it's my understanding that they are a part of the social studies or civics and leadership program at Wilson Academy, and they are here to observe the Board of Commissioners meeting and learn about civic leadership on the local level this morning. So we are delighted to have each and every one of you all here, and I know you're going to be quizzed when you get back, so we ask that you take some very good notes, because I'm sure Mr. Wilson and his staff is going to be asking you several questions. So we're calling our meeting to order this morning. We want to start off with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance by none other than our very own Director Dan Morgan from Emergency Management. Director Morgan.
Thank you. Good morning. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in a meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and to nurture the bonds of community. Enable us to think and strategize in ways that will achieve great results. I pray that we feel your presence during this meeting, because you are with us wherever we go and whatever we do. Amen. Please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director Morgan, for leading us in our invocation and our pledge this morning. Commissioners, at this time, we are honored to have one of our partners in civic leadership here with us this morning from the City of Conyers City Council, none other than the Honorable Councilwoman Valencia Smith. Come on up, Ms. Smith. I'm calling you. That's where you come on up there to the podium and give us your presentation this morning. We're so glad to have you. One of the things we often brag about is our relationship with the City of Conyers, and certainly having a City Councilwoman out this morning. And I think this is a perfect opportunity because we have the young people here. They see the Board of Commissioners. There's a City Councilwoman present, and they're going to hear from you this morning.
Well, thank you, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Rockdale.
Good morning.
This morning, I'm bringing to you our comprehensive plan survey. We began talking about it last year. I'm a very strong believer in making sure that we engulf in conversation and keep our community abreast of what's going on in the city, but also engage them to be able to participate in our plans for the future. So I am bringing to you from the city to the county, which also includes county residents, our comprehensive plan survey. As you can see it above, there's a QR code. And if you go to the city's website, you will see the website link that you can click on. It's a very brief survey. It asks you a great deal of information about your input, things that you would like to see, how you feel about certain subject matters, and it gives us an idea to be able to take all of this information and use it as a committee to plan for our future. So I ask that everybody who is watching the board meeting this morning or later on in the day, or also everybody who's present, including Wilson Academy. Hey, lovelies, you can actually take the survey too. We would love our young people to have input as well. If you go to the city's website, again, you can't scan the QR code there, but there is a link. And if you are just so happen at the Cherry Blossom Festival, we are printing up thousands of these cards to make sure that you get one in your hand, or you can get one to your guest's hand. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, even if you don't live in the city, your opinion, your words, they matter, they count. So again, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to bring this to the board and all of your residents, and I'm looking forward to seeing your comments and your inputs.
Thank you. Commissioner, go right ahead.
First of all, thank you for the presentation. How many surveys have been completed thus far?
159.
So we have 159 people that have taken the time to voice their opinion. And I would take, of course, I'm on the committee, but I really, really would like for more people to give their input, because this is where the rubber meets the road on both this comprehensive plan and our county comprehensive plan, where we get the feedback on how you all want to move the city and the county forward. So we only have 136 responses out of, what, 10,000 residents? 10, 11?
17,000.
17,000 residents in the city, so we need to do better, Conyers.
That's why I'm here. So we are going to do better, and you will be seeing me all throughout the county and the city. I'm going to everybody's church, everybody's community event. We're going to get this information out here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Williams, any comment for the councilwoman?
I can't remember if I took the survey already, maybe not.
That's okay. You can take it again.
But I will go back and just double check. But yeah, I think it's really important to get the feedback from everybody, just as we're beginning our comprehensive land use update in the next few months. We're going to be asking the same thing for public input. And so I encourage everybody to get the little QR code, which I tried to get it from there, but it wouldn't work.
I got one for you.
Okay, all right. So thank you for coming this morning.
No problem.
So, Councilwoman, you brought a stack with you, I see, this morning. And
Well, I brought three just
Oh,
in case
just three. Okay.
the chair and the board hadn't taken it, but I know Commissioner Washington has. But just in case you yourself, Chairman, or Commissioner Williams hadn't had the opportunity, I brought three.
Very good.
But I have an extra one just in case anybody wants to pass it along, or your staff and what have you, and they can scan the QR code and keep passing.
So I was going to, first of all, let me say thank you for you coming out and sharing and representing the city of Conyers. We're going to be here for a minute or two this morning. You have enough time if you want to get some more cards from the city office, bring them out to the vestibule, and make sure that those folks who are currently present can take advantage of them while you're actually here, if you'd like to do that. Let's give the city councilwoman a round of applause for being here, representing the city of Conyers. All right, okay, commissioners, we'll move to item number 4, the approval of the agenda. What's your pleasure?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I second the motion.
It has been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 5.
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
I second that motion.
It has been properly motioned and second for the approval of the minutes of February the 28th, 2023, and March the 7th of 2023. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 6, there is no unfinished business at this time. Commissioners, we're going to move right on to the consent agenda.
I move to approve the items on the consent agenda as listed.
I second the motion.
It's been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Brings us now to the regular agenda. And I will yield to the Executive Director Rutledge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 101 is rezoning case 2022-13, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended by rezoning 460 Honey Creek Road Southeast from AR Agricultural Residential to CRS Collaborative Residential Subdivision Zoning District to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted this morning for a second reading.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
We have to put the motion on the floor in order to discuss, because there's some, I really
So
want
let's
to
put
discuss.
the motion
Okay,
on the floor.
all right. Based upon the criteria listed in Rockdale County Section 238-4, I hereby move to deny this ordinance as presented.
I second that motion. It has been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions, comments?
Comments. This rezoning has been different to me. I started out with the 640 or 600 and something homes as a flat denial.
And Commissioner,
I'm
you
sorry.
just took the mic away
It's
from them.
so-
They
so-
need to
okay.
hear. I think they made an adjustment so they can hear
Okay.
you. Yes.
I started out as a flat denial, and then I went out to look at the property, and I got to speak to the owner and the owner's representative, and I saw a bigger vision for this county than to just deny it. So the story that was presented to me by the owner and the owner's representative is that this property has been in the family since before Rockdale County was Rockdale County. The gentleman walked from New York to Rockdale County, carved out his land, and that family has been the owner of that property ever since. And they've held it as in a conservatorship for a very long time. Now Ms. Cowan is very old and very ill, and they have to sell the property. They're going to sell it. So that's the number one thing. This property is going to be sold. And it's a lot of land. And Rockdale County, we had no idea that they were even considering selling their land. So we haven't been prepping to do any development out there because it's been the same for so long. From the story that has been told to me is that there have been, so Ms. Cowan started trying to sell this property herself. She had a for sale sign out there herself trying to sell this land, and there were so many people that were trying to steal the land from her, trying to get it to her from, sell it for less than what it was worth. Finally, they found a broker that they trusted, that could field the offers and could do what she wanted. Her vision was to keep this as a place that families could enjoy. She really wanted to do something where groups of families could enjoy the property that she and her family have enjoyed for so long. So with the agent, so many people have given her offers on the property, but many of them, we thought that 600 houses were a lot. They were coming back with 700 and something houses, cutting down all the trees, trying to make tract houses and things like that. Finally, they got an offer from D.R. Horton that was less money, but they were the ones that offered the conservatorship. And to her, that was the beginning of anybody listening trying to save the legacy of our family. So we still, at that point, it was at the 640 homes, which of course, or 600 and something. I was like, no way, we're not doing that. But I wanted to see if there was a way that we could create something that held true with the legacy of what the Cowan family tried to present. And like I said, when I got there and you see the lake and you see the vision for the amenities, I thought that this would be something that we could do if we did it right. And by right meaning, everybody says something about a public-private partnership, but the private part, they not really trying to do a lot of things unless they can make money, because it's a business, they're trying to make money. But with this public-private partnership, they're willing to start bringing the sewer out that way, which means that that's opportunity for more economic development for people who already live there that have approached us for sewer to start being able to tap into the sewer lines. I understand that, like I said, we weren't ready for a almost 300 acre tract to be developed, but I believe that if we do it slowly by restricting the number of permits that could be pulled per year to less than 100. So I'm thinking like 8 per month, which would be 96 per year. That would be something where we could monitor the wastewater, the sewer, the schools, everything on a continual basis. And if we put some kind of benchmark before they can pull for the next year, then that would be helping to move a project along. I'm thinking that we could craft this where they have a boulevard entrance, they have a sense of place where they create their own signage. They're already gonna be, there's a lake there, and it was the lake that showed me that if we do this right, we could have a generation of children that know how to fish, because they could go easily with their parents or their grandparents to the lake to fish. You could have date night on the lake, well, maybe date day on the lake. They were putting fire pits there. They were putting a community garden there. I would want the electric stations there. When we had the public hearing, the community, not only did we have people cheering because they wanted high-end housing, but they were concerned about the workforce housing. Also, with this kind of development, we could do both. We can ask for 15% of the housing to be at the 3,000 square feet and above, and we can ask for them to limit for 10% of the housing to be the 1,800 square feet. We could create something that this community would be proud of. A lot of people are asking, well, what about the school system? You know, you mentioned at our last meeting, the email that Dr. Oates sent regarding the schools. And that, to me, we hear the negative things in the schools, but we're forgetting we have students in Rockdale County schools that are getting full scholarships to Tier 1 schools. I met a young man who has a academic scholarship, he has an athletic scholarship to Harvard. Now, in order to get in Harvard, even on an athletic scholarship, you have to be doing something right. I know so many people that are doing, that our school system is doing right by. These children are coming to school, they want to learn, and they're excelling. We have a school board that's getting top honors all the way around. I know that when it's time to create new schools, they will be on top of it like they've been on top of everything else. There's just so many ways that we can make this work. I think that if we limit the amount of houses to maybe 475 houses, which what that is like that's a 10,000 square foot lot, which is what the CR code is. You limit the houses, the way that the subdivision is divided, it's almost as if there's two subdivisions anyway. So if we go on with a development plan where we have benchmarks and permits pulled slowly, I think we can get this done, preserve these people's legacies, and have a subdivision that we can be proud of. We can ask for the charging stations, trying to make everything, bringing it to the 21st century, but have the amenities of a community. So I really would, instead of denying this outright, would like to craft something so that, number one, we can honor this woman's and that family's legacy, but number two, start the process of setting standards in this community, which is what we'd be doing by placing these standards on it and bringing this as something that this community could cherish and relish. So that's where I am today.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Williams, any comments from you?
Well, I really appreciate your thought, and I see your vision. I just don't see it for this property because, for one, the roads are not really compatible with that large of a development. But also, I feel like the zoning that's already there, the agricultural residential, is really more appropriate for that piece of land. So.
All right, it's been properly motioned and second. Are there any additional comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, could I get Commissioner Washington's
That's a
vote?
no.
It's a no?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let the record reflect Commissioner Washington is voting no. All right, thank you. Next item, please.
Item 102 is Future Land Case 2022-05, an ordinance to amend the future land use map of Rockdale County's comprehensive plan as amended so as to redesignate property located at 0 Highway 138 Southeast, Highway 138 Southeast, and 2010 Southeast Weatherstone Circle from the commercial future land use category to the mixed-use employment center future land use category, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading this morning.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure? I move to deny
I'm sorry.
based on the criteria listed in Rockdale County Code Section 238-4. I hereby move to deny this ordinance as presented.
I second.
It's been properly motioned and second from Commissioner Washington. Are there any comments or questions on this particular item?
Well, it's interesting because I could see townhomes in this, owner-occupied townhomes in that particular area. As I drove out there the other day, commercial stuff will go up, and that may be your preference, but I would rather see townhomes in that area.
It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Motion
Nay.
Are
carries.
you opposed?
I'm
Okay,
opposed to
thank
that.
you.
And let the record reflect that Commissioner Williams is voting in opposition of it. Next item, please.
All right, thank you. This item goes right along with item 102. So this is item 103, rezoning case 2022-11, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended by rezoning 0 Highway 138 Southeast from C1 to RM, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I move to deny based upon the criteria listed in Rockdale County, Section 238-4.
I second that motion. It's been properly motioned and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Let me go back, I'm
Nay.
sorry. Are there any questions or comments?
We'll get it.
Commissioner Williams, any questions or comments?
No.
Commissioner Washington?
None.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All in favor, say aye.
I'm sorry, aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
Motion carries. Next item, please.
Were there
It's a
any
nay.
opposed? Thank you.
Yes.
Let the record reflect that Commissioner Williams is in opposition of that item. Next item, please.
Item 104 is rezoning case 2023-02, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended by rezoning 2304, 2322, and 2332 Old Covington Highway from R1 Single Family Residential to M1 Limited Industrial, to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances, and for other purposes. This is submitted for a second reading.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I move to deny based upon the criteria listed in Rockdale County Code, Section 238-4.
I second that motion. It has been properly motioned and second. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And we haven't opposed. Thank you.
And one opposition by Commissioner Williams on that particular item on Covington Highway.
Right?
All right, so we are now down to public comment.
That is correct. I have not received any red cards this morning. All right, so it looks like we have one coming up. Okay, I will go ahead and read the disclaimer, Mr. Chairman.
Executive Director Barkley, thank you so much.
Thank you. As a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Comments relative to any issues that are currently going through the public hearing process, matters that are in active litigation, political campaigning, or partisan politics will not be heard in this meeting. Speakers are to address the chairman, not each other or the audience, and are expected to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. The use of abusive or profane language shall not be allowed. No debate or argument between speakers and/or members of the audience shall be permitted.
Thank you so much. We'll call up Mr. George Kelachek. Come on up, Mr. Kelachek.
Good morning, Chairman.
Good morning.
Commissioners, citizens of Rockdale County. As George Washington Carver stated, where there is no vision, there is no hope. I'm the chairman of the Rockdale Soil Water Conservation District, real estate developer and builder in both Georgia and Florida. Presenting today an alternative to this, which is the clear cutting of our land. We provided a concept to the administration over 18 months ago. This village habitat design conservation community was also conveyed to the City Council and the Conyers-Rockdale Economic Development Council, which was well received over the last 2 weeks. This information is provided by villagehabitat.com. Owner is Greg Ramsey. He does these developments around the world and even in DeKalb County. They work very well. These answer questions to institutional housing, community gardens, fishing, and protecting our environment. I asked this administration to host a developer builder symposium to share this conservation community concept, because if we don't, we will continue to have the destruction of our environment throughout Rockdale County. Right now, there's a 560-acre tract and a 217-acre tract owned by the Rockdale Soil Water Conservation, or Rockdale Water Soil Authority, which we could look at utilizing for this type of development. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you could have. Let us reimagine the land use map in Rockdale County, along with the city of Conyers, and provide the type of institutional housing for our taxpayer dollars, because we can have institutional housing at a very affordable cost along with high-end housing, and actually have a strategy that will work for everybody to attract people to Rockdale County. Thank you very much for your comments. If you'd like me to share this later on with you, I'll ask Greg Ramsey to come and have a in-person meeting with your administration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kilichek, and thank you for all that you do on behalf of the citizens of Rockdale County. Next up is Mr. Jesus Oliveras. Good morning, Mr. Jesus.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the opportunity that you provide for us.
Yes.
Okay? I'm just going to show you a map. You probably can't see it, but this is the map of our county. Every single red dot that you see there is a development, either already done, houses already there, nobody's occupying them, and that includes also those that are being provided, and they do not include the ones that we're talking about right now and the ones that you have in the future, okay? So you can see that all you see there is green dots. I mean, it's going to be red dots completely. And I'd like to read just a comment. I had two comments, but I'm going to delete one, okay?
Okay.
For time's sake. That one of the citizens wrote, okay? Why is Rockdale County so behind? Why don't we have restaurants like other counties? People are tired of having to drive to the city for a nice restaurant. Why are there places for the kids? Like Dave and Buster's and other places. Why don't we have adequate shopping centers and malls? What isn't Rockdale like other counties? And what do we have to get nice restaurants and activities out of this way? I'm not going to bore you with statistics or anything. You already heard all of that completely. But I'm going to summarize what we, the citizens of the county, have been talking to you, the elected officials. We don't need any carpetbaggers to come here and tell us to change our laws. We don't need any carpetbaggers to tell us how to live and our properties conditions completely at all, okay? You guys are our eyes and ears in the county. You guys are our elected officials completely, okay? And I'm just going to say it just like it comes from my heart, okay? Completely. The chairs that you sit on are not yours. They belong to us, the people, all right? And we are not as dumb as the people in Pennsylvania, all right? And if you don't listen to the people of Rockdale County, take a lesson from what happened in Chicago. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jesus, and we appreciate all that you do on behalf of the citizens of Rockdale County. I think that completes all of our public comment cards. We'll move now into board comment, and I'll start with Commissioner Washington.
So I do want to address some of that public comment. So I've sat here for 6 years, and I've just recently gotten involved with economic development over the last 2-3 years. And I've delved into the economic development, going to classes, going to the seminars, trying to be very proactive in getting what we want here. The number one thing that they look at when they're bringing retail anywhere two things: income and density or bodies. So, for example, a Whole Foods, everybody wants Whole Foods. And I tell everybody that you have to be, I'd say when I go to Whole Foods, some of the things that I buy in Whole Foods, my great-grandmother would say it was pure foolishness. Like coming out with $30 worth of olives, that's just, you have to have a group of people that are willing to go and pay $30 for olives, or $20 for, I've spent $20 on honey at Whole Foods. My great-grandmother would have said that's foolishness. You got to have a group of people that are willing to do that. So they're looking at, they look at the county, the density, and the income. So when we aren't doing the things like bringing in developments that the price points that are at a certain way with the number of people, then the people that are coming in, they're seeing that I think the median household income right now for Rockdale County is like $62,000 a year. Where to have a Whole Foods, you have to have $75,000 a year median income and 250,000 people within a certain radius. So those are the things that they look at. But other establishments, those are the ones that are looking at that. If the dollar stores they're saying that this community, when they come here, they've done their research and they're saying this is our target market. So the things that we have to do is figure out how to get out of their target market so that they won't come here and the other people feel comfortable coming to Rockdale County because they know when they put a store here or a restaurant here that we're going to be able to consistently, not just on birthdays, but consistently go out and spend the money for the nice restaurants. So those are the type of things, those are the type of developments that we have to gear ourselves when we do our comprehensive plan, which you just, I don't know if you know, you just volunteered for our comp plan committee since with your comments. But those are the things that we have to do now, is figure out how do we preserve what we have and the community that we have, but go to the place where we are attracting the demographic that we need to go to that next level. So that's kind of the answer to your question.
I understand that. I'm not a prophet. I'm not talking so much. This was just a comment for somebody else bringing stuff in here. But why did you make more developments? And when you already have enough housing already, completely to fill all those people there. Okay?
So,
And then I do agree with what you said. Take that piece of Honey Creek, develop it for the community, not for somebody else. You don't need more houses. Okay? That's a big area there for these young people that are coming up to be utilized. I agree with that. We don't need no more housing. We just need something else for the county people. Okay? The developer at one time mentioned about millennials and all that, the people there. There have been people in this county that were here before, and I'm not criticizing, but before you guys came, okay? And they want a status quo to a certain degree. Yes, they want increase. your secretary to get all the phone calls and everything that
Can-
he got.
Can I address, one more thing about the traffic? So we did our traffic, we do what is it, a traffic, not the study, but
Impact study, right?
not the impact, when we have everybody come down here, our traffic town hall,
Oh,
where
the
we have,
Transportation Summit.
yeah, we have a transportation summit every year since we've taken office. And one of the things that I asked this year, is how do we get in front of it? We see it coming. We know it's coming. We see all the development. How do we get in front of it so that we can get out of it, out of the traffic? The gentleman from the Georgia Department of Transportation told us that they don't start fixing traffic until it's a real bad problem, which isn't a good place to be. I know I look just like that. That was the look on my face when he said that. But that was the answer to his question, to my question, is that they don't start fixing the problems until they're bad problems, which isn't good enough to me. So, that's something that we're also looking at in a transportation study. What are the next steps in moving our transportation forward? Is it going to take a T-SPLOST or something like that so we can put money that we receive in and allocate it differently? So I just want.
Transportation people, but there is a problem.
Okay. Thank you, I'm sorry.
No apology needed, Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Jesus. Commissioner Washington, Commissioner Williams.
Oh, we're on me as my, one more thing,
still
I have.
okay, all right,
One more thing.
We're still on Commissioner Washington, her comments. Go right ahead, Commissioner.
I did have a women's history, and I did it differently this time. Let's see if I can do it. Let's see. March 8th, 1839, American inventor Josephine Cochran was born in Ashtabula County, Ohio. She was the inventor of the first commercially successful automated dishwasher, which she constructed together with mechanic George Butters. After receiving a patent on December 28, 1886, she showed her invention at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago and won the highest prize for best mechanical construction, durability, and adaptation to its line of work. So she's my shero, the inventor of the dishwasher.
All right. Give us her name again, please.
It is, okay, you are from Wilson Academy. This is going to be on your test, so take notes. It is Josephine Garris Cochran.
All right, Ms. Cochran. All right.
Now I'm done.
All right.
I can tell you right now, I love Josephine. I'm so glad she did that. So a couple of different things that have happened this past week and that are coming up. I was able to attend the ACCG legislative breakfast down at the Capitol last week. That is always, that being there, the breakfast, of course, was over at the Freight Depot across the street from the Capitol. But we heard speakers, we heard the Secretary of State speak. He talked about elections. He talked about the integrity of Georgia's elections. We heard from the Transportation Department. We heard about some different bills that are being voted on that have crossed over from one house to the other. One of the major ones that is an interesting one is weight limits for trucks, because currently the weight limit is 80,000 pounds. But this bill would allow 88,000 pounds on our roads. The Transportation Department, there's two issues with that. One, the Transportation Department said that will increase the need for road repairs by 30%. But it's also that there's a federal limit on the interstates of 80,000, which means those heavier trucks cannot go on the interstates. So where will they go? They'll go on our state highways and local roads. And so that's a problem too, because that directly impacts what we're paying for road repair, plus the concerns about safety with those big trucks on our local roads. And then after the breakfast, then I had an opportunity to walk across to the Capitol and speak with several of our Rockdale delegation. You know, I would suggest to anybody that they really ought to just go down and listen and hear what's going on. There were lots of students there the day I was there. I think it must have been the Senate that was honoring scouting, because there were little scouts all the way to big scouts, adult scouts. But it's just, you get the real picture of how state government works and how it affects what's happening right here in Rockdale County. Coming up this week, tomorrow, we have a Stepping Up Initiative Steering Committee meeting, and I would invite anybody who would like to attend to do so, just to see what's going on with our criminal justice and our mental health community. It is a Zoom meeting, so if you're interested, just email me and I can email you the Zoom link. We're going to get, this meeting is going to be limited to an hour, but we will get updates on everything that's going on in this community. We will get updates on our restorative justice complex, where we are in the process of building that out, in relationship also to a site visit that was made in November, December, or January, I don't even remember, to Milledgeville and Macon. There'll be an update on our Opening Doors to Recovery project. That is a program that for people coming out of incarceration who have addictions or mental health issues, they sign up to participate in this particular program, and there are 3 people who are hands-on with them. So it's a very intensive case management program, and so far it's working as it ought to work. And that will be up, we'll hear an update on that. We'll hear an update on what's happening with our recovery center, Grit and Grace, and how the supports that they are providing for our accountability court participants and others in the community. Also, then, my third thing is Women's History Month. And okay, so I think, from what I can see, the theme for this year is Valiant Women of the Vote, Refusing to be Silenced. And
Commissioner, what was that theme again? Give it in case the young people are taking notes.
Valiant Women of the Vote, Refusing to be Silenced. And I was just going to address the youth on how important it is when you are 17 and a half, you can register to vote, and then beginning on your 18th birthday, you're already registered and you can vote in the next election. It's important to have that your vote and your voice. This is talking about women and refusing to be silenced, but I want to expand that to our young people, that this is really important because many times the vote is dominated by, do I want to say old people? But you know, adults with families and senior citizens and all of that. And we have a large population of youth. So are any of you registered to vote already? Oh, yay. Oh, yay. Okay, good. So your peers are doing it, and I would encourage you to do it also. Those are my comments.
All right, Commissioner Washington, any additional comments?
I am.
Okay, all right. I'm going to start off my Women in History Month with our very own Fire Chief, Chief McDaniel. Come on up, Chief McDaniel. I want you to talk about, yeah, give her a round of applause. Absolutely. As the chief is making her way to the podium and the microphone, let me just tell you, Chief McDaniel serves as our very first African-American female firefighter for the Rockdale County Fire and Rescue. But since Chief McDaniel has taken the leadership role as the executive fire chief for Rockdale County, she's made a lot of changes in terms of diversity. You hear a lot of conversation about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and belonging. The chief has made a lot of strides in terms of recruiting more women. Chief, tell us about the makeup and the demographic of the Rockdale County Fire and Rescue.
First of all, thank you very much for the honor. Last year I honored all of the women of Rockdale County Fire Rescue. So for you to recognize me, ultimately us this year, I really, truly appreciate it. So Rockdale County Fire Rescue, out of 180 personnel, 103 of those are in our field operations. Of those, 4 women are firefighters. We have 1 serving as a captain, 1 that's the driver, which is at the sergeant position. In addition to myself, I have, we are the second fire department nationwide that I know of as of right now that has an all-women executive staff running a fire department. The city of Decatur under Fire Chief Tony Washington is 1. So in addition to the 4 firefighters, I have myself as well as my 2 deputy fire chiefs, which are women as well. We have our fire prevention officers, which are women, our fire education officers, which are women. So we have a heavy presence of women in the fire rescue organization, and it's growing. You hear me talk about numbers. Nationwide, firefighters, over 300, 400,000 firefighters, only 1 or 2% are women. So we're looking for that number to grow. So, young ladies, young ladies, stand up, young ladies. Let me see what Wilson Academy. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 future firefighters for Rockdale County Fire Rescue. So, but once again, we're growing. We're always looking for women, and we welcome our young men as well to join our organization. So, yeah, there we are.
Very good, Chief. And before you take your seat, let me just say this. I really do appreciate you acknowledging the number of women within the fire department and acknowledging the presence of our young women as a part of Wilson Academy. But I also want to make sure that you have an opportunity to communicate with Mr. Wilson, who's here on behalf of the school, so that the young people can visit our fire department and fire headquarters and really learn there's a whole lot more to fire and rescue than riding or driving a fire truck. And I think the opportunity to meet you and the other women and all of the men and women who make up Rockdale County Fire and Rescue would certainly enlighten them, even if they don't have an interest in firefighting at all. I think the exposure opportunity would really be a big service to the county as well as to the young people. Let's give Chief McDaniel another round of applause. Also want to call up our Parks and Rec Director, Director Redmond. He has some exciting news about some of the new activity and equipment we have out at Parker Road.
Good morning, Chairman.
Morning.
Good morning, Madam Commissioners.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling me up, Chairman. Wanted to just make a couple of highlights for Parks and Recreation. As you said previously, we do have a fitness court at Parker Road, 1400 Parker Road. This court is in conjunction with the National Fitness Campaign, which is a nationwide movement that has national fitness centers all over the nation. So essentially what it is, it's an outdoor gymnasium for exercise. I did a board presentation for this campaign maybe about 3 months ago, and I explained that you can use your smartphone to scan a QR code and go in and do certain workouts with it. So it's right there at Parker Road. It's big, it's blue, you can't miss it. It's in the middle of the field. It is in the middle of the walking trail as well, so it's a very convenient space for it.
Well, I want to say hats off to Director Redmond and his staff. We walk out at Parker Road, and several of the walkers, both morning and late evening walkers, are really delighted to be able to participate in this new equipment that's out there. It's an added value when you talk about health and wellness throughout Rockdale County. So hats off to Parks and Recreation, and I want to commend both of my colleagues for supporting this forward movement when we talk about parks, recreation, and new amenities in our county. Let's give Director Redmond a round of applause. Parks and Recreation.
Can I ask Director Redmond about an activity?
Go right ahead.
Director Redmond, are we doing any Easter egg hunts?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Any Easter egg hunt? I had a group of children who wanted to know if we were
The
doing
announcement
these.
for your upcoming Easter egg
Yes, we do have an Easter egg hunt coming up. That flyer will be done really soon. We have not confirmed everything yet, all the pieces, so I don't want to announce it just yet.
Oh.
So at the next board meeting, you will see a flyer for it. But yes, we definitely will have an Easter egg hunt, and it will be at Costa Mill. That much I can tell you.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
All right.
Just
All right. And
waiting.
I know you're eagerly waiting for that. One more highlight, Chairman and Commissioners, just wanted to bring to your attention that this year, for the first time, Rockdale County Parks and Recreation was the district host for the District Georgia Recreation Parks Association State Basketball Tournament. So we are in District 6, so we were able to host a district tournament. And oftentimes I come before you all and say, I need this and I need that, and we need this building and we need that building. And to be honest with you, all three of our gymnasiums have been, we have a new gymnasium at Johnson Park. We renovated the old gymnasium, then we also renovated J.P. Carr Gymnasium. That allows for us to host these tournaments that brings people to come in and eat at the restaurants. If we had a 2-day tournament, they would have to stay at a hotel. However, this was our first time hosting a tournament. We were able to put in, for the first time, 4 teams into the district tournament.
Wow.
We put a 10 and under, a 12 and under, a 14 and under, and a 17 and under. The 10 and under were the runner-up, and they played in Walton County. The 12 and under, they lost in the first round in Macon-Bibb County. So again, this gives the kids the opportunity to travel to different areas and different regions to play and compete. The 14U were the runner-up in Rockdale County, and our 17U were the champions of District 6 in Rockdale County. So just wanted to highlight those kids and their accomplishments.
Thank you, and thank you, Director Redmond, for you and your staff, the great job you all are doing out there in Parks and Rec all throughout Rockdale County. I tell you, we've got some very strong programming in our Parks and Rec department, a lot of opportunities for young people. As we're approaching spring and summer, I know today may not seem all that springy just yet with 30-degree weather at the top of the morning, but a lot of forward thinking is going into Parks and Recreation, plenty of options and opportunities for our young people and for all of our community as a whole. I heard the young lady when she said season. When you said old, she said season. So I'm with her, season, absolutely. I do want to call up Director Dan Morgan. He is our Emergency Management Agency Director. Director Morgan, the alert went off about 4 o'clock the other day, and I started getting calls right after that. Folks start texting me at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, wanted to know, first of all, had I lost my mind, and I had to tell them, no, I have all my faculties, had not lost my mind, but I thought I'd call you up to kind of validate that, if you would.
Yes, and I want to dispel any rumors. Rockdale County is not starting a wake-up service. So this was a warning, and our Swift Reach program, it was a mistake. It will not happen again. We've corrected it. There was a flaw in the system that it was sending out every warning. and it should only send out tornado and very severe thunderstorm warnings. The frost warning, when the National Weather Service put the warning at the end, kicked it out. We didn't realize that we haven't had a freeze warning in a long time. Didn't realize that was buried in the system. We have corrected it. We apologize for that. And I promise you, Chairman, next phone call you get at 4:30 will probably be from me personally. It won't be from an automated system. So it was a mistake, and we apologize for that.
No, we thank you for the apology, but let me just tell you, we appreciate the apology. It was an inconvenience. It did disturb some people. It woke a lot of folks up. It scared the stew out of folks. Old schoolers say stew. It scared the stew out of some folks. But we do understand that technology oftentimes leaves us hanging. As much as we move into a more technology-savvy world, oftentimes there are glitches with technology, and it throws everything out of whack, and it really is an inconvenience. So we feel better knowing what had actually happened. I knew the backdrop to all of this, but I thought it would be important for you to come up and explain it as the Director of Emergency Management. But I want to say to our residents, we have your best interests at heart when it comes to public safety. And we want to make sure that we have all of the tools and resources necessary to alert you and to give you the proper warning. We ask that you don't jump to conclusion. Bear with us, because sometimes technology, just like the TV did back in the 60s and the 70s, sometimes it would act up and it would say on the screen, please stand by, we're having technical difficulties. Technology moves so fast, and as fast as it moves, oftentimes it messes up at the same time. So we ask that you bear with us. I really appreciate Director Morgan and he and his team and all of the fine work they do to make sure that Rockdale County is a safe community. He is also in charge of our emergency 911, but he has assured us that chances are it's less likely, I'm gonna put it that way, because sometimes technology will make a fool out of you, but it's less likely that this is happening again. But please know that we're not pressing the button, and this is something that was a bleep and a blunder. But thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause for the work they're doing. As I prepare to wrap up, I want to give a couple of comments on several things that have taken place this morning. First of all, I want to say thank you to both of my colleagues, because we are tasked often with some very burdensome responsibilities to make big decisions in Rockdale County. I also want to commend the residents of Rockdale County in all parts and all areas, whether you're in the Honey Creek area, whether you're a resident out at Weatherstone community and some of those other areas. If you have a school or you have a business along the Covenant Highway corridor, let me say this to you. We appreciate you, and we appreciate you coming out and sharing your thoughts concerning the future direction of Rockdale County. I echo the fact that, yes, we are growing. We have grown. This is not the same community that it was in 1975. I agree that there has to be balance, but also there has to be education and understanding what the commissioner was trying to articulate, that in order for those businesses that a lot of us desire to see in our community, there has to be a feasibility study. A part of that feasibility study includes taking a hard look at the median household income. Right now, we're somewhere between $61,000 and $62,000 per average median household income. We need to get that up just a little bit. You get it up by bringing in those people who are earning the level of income, which we call rooftops, that will also support and sustain those businesses when and if they decide to come in Rockdale County and set up shop. They are not going to come if everything doesn't check off properly with the criteria required during the feasibility study. There's a lot to be explained with this. This is one of the reasons why we're hosting the info sessions. This is another reason why we have the infrastructure planning task force that included the Atlanta Regional Commission. Our goal is to educate you and to inform you about how a city, a county, a community actually works. So I think it's important that we preserve the heritage and those sacred places inside of our community. We don't have total control over that. I do have to make mention that a lot of the farms are being sold or up for sale. What comes in, how it looks, we do have some influence in those areas. My encouragement to you is to be a part of what Executive Director Rutledge is looking for now. People to participate in our comprehensive plan as we continue to take a look at the future growth and the future opportunities here in Rockdale County. Continue to come out. Continue to be an active player and an active part of what's going on in your community. We want to hear from you, but we also want to make sure that you are educated and that you are properly informed in terms of how to shape and mold a community. I believe that with some of the items that we had here this morning that we were tasked with voting for, some of those items would really have brought culture shock to our community when you talk about traffic and some of those other things. I believe in the growth, and I think the growth should be measured as we go based upon all of our infrastructure and the feedback from our citizens. The citizens spoke very, very loud and clear during the Planning Commission meetings. They came out during the hearings and spoke very, very clearly. I also want to make sure I take this opportunity to commend those developers, because I have to give credit where credit is due. They made every available attempt to try and educate and to communicate with pockets of those communities, both Weatherstone as well as the folks out in the Honey Creek area. They may not have touched every single person, but they came out and made an opportunity to do so, to communicate. I think they are going back to the drawing board, and they're going to revisit and rethink about their vision as it relates to Rockdale County. So I want to make sure that you understand that we don't take this task lightly. It's important because we are residents here as well. It's important that we make sure that the future of Rockdale is able to embrace all of those people who call this wonderful county home. I'm proud to say that we're amongst one of the safest counties in the entire Atlanta region, and if not the entire state. So we have a lot to be proud of. There's a lot of growth in the right areas of our community, but I think there's an opportunity still wide open and on the table for the citizens to continue to communicate with the leadership of this county. Executive Director Rutledge, I want you to just take a moment and talk about the comprehensive plan and the fact that we're actually looking for folks to participate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we are. So we have been sending out email blasts, social media blasts, and we have links on our website. We are putting out the notice, just like the councilwoman said this morning. We have a slightly different timeline than the city of Conyers, but Rockdale County is going through our comprehensive land use plan update as well, and we are looking for members to serve on the steering committee. There is an application that is out, and we have set a deadline for this Friday, March 17th, to have that application turned in to the Board of Commissioners office, and that way the board will be able to make the selection about who can serve on the steering committee, and we can get our process started too with the public hearings and the inevitable updating of the land use plan. So that will be this Friday, March 17th. So if anyone's interested, you can catch me after the meeting as well. Some of you have already turned in the volunteer forms. We would very much appreciate not only filling out the application if you're interested in serving, but the survey that's attached. It's a similar survey that the city of Conyers talked about this morning. Rockdale County is going through the same process. I would encourage you to fill out both of those surveys, because whatever happens in the city happens in the county and vice versa. We're a small geographical area, and planning and development is something that is very much felt by both entities. So that would be very helpful.
Thank you, Executive Director. Is there a number, perhaps for the folks who are watching or listening to the broadcast, that can call and pick up a little additional information?
Absolutely. So we are encouraging that if you're interested in volunteering, that you reach out to Patty Pearson in the Board of Commissioners office. She is the administrative manager and can be reached at 770-278-7001. That is our number to get the Board of Commissioners office. And also, if you need additional information just about the process in general, we can provide it to you, which leads me into something else I'd like to talk about for just a second. Speaking of getting additional information, I would love to encourage everyone to check out our new website. We have been working very, very hard on getting this website updated with all of the pertinent information, getting us out of 1975. There is a lot of information on there that stays up to date, not just about the Board of Commissioners, but all of our departments, our elected officials. We have a calendar on the front page of the website, which is a big deal. You all know. Also, all of the backup information, I would really encourage you to explore that website and to use it because, and if you see something on there we can improve, let us know. That is how we're trying to make sure our citizenry has all the up-to-date information on Rockdale County. I think you'll really like it if you get a chance to look at it. And just for everyone, the website address, www.rockdalecountyga.gov. Please check it out.
That was a bonus announcement. That was what I call a bonus announcement.
Well, Chairman, I am so excited about the website because for the most part, when citizens need information, they reach out to me, which is fine, but I'm just one human. So it's better if they have somewhere to go, and because I know that you want up-to-date information, you might be interested in a SPLAS meeting, a task force meeting, the Planning Commission, the Board of Commissioners, and we have a lot happening here.
Well, you're absolutely right, and the website we just launched a brand new user-friendly website, I must say. They did a fantastic job putting this website together, putting a lot of thought into it. If you've not visited our website, please go out there and take a look at it. Oftentimes, people call into the office, or they're wondering. They're either talking and discussing on social media or a Nextdoor app and wanting to know where to go to find this, that, or the other. The county is a business. We have a website. You can go to the website and navigate yourself through, and I tell you, you're going to find it to be quite a friendly navigation as you move forward. I do want to make just a couple of more announcements, and we're going to wrap it up. I want to ask that our Executive Director, Tony Holmes from Talent Management, make her way to the podium. Just like every industry throughout the region, we are challenged with attracting new talent, retaining folks, and we got a few job openings and want to make sure that people can go to the website and navigate themselves through. And I don't know where it says jobs or careers. What does it say?
It actually says employment, Mr. Chairman. It's on the home page of the new website. We have 46 jobs posted right now on that website. I definitely encourage everyone to take a look at it. We are going to do our annual employment summit, so that's coming up in July as well. We hosted that at Johnson Park last year, had great success with that. So we're inviting everybody, take a look at the website. We also have an internship program that's going to be starting up this summer. And just encourage you to reach out to my office if you have any questions. Claudette Rancifer is our recruitment and retention manager, and she would be very excited to speak with you. So I'm going to go ahead and share the number for our office directly. It's 770-278-7575. Again, that's 770-278-7575. So if you're looking for a wonderful opportunity, a dynamic place to work, we ask that you join us. And again, take a look at the website. It's on the very front page. It says employment. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Executive Director Holmes, thank you so much, and we certainly do appreciate all of the efforts out of your recruitment office and talent management to bring the best employees to Rockdale County. I want to take this opportunity at this point to extend an invitation to Mr. Wilson and all of our young people from Wilson Academy to our upcoming State of the County address. It's going to take place on Thursday, March the 30th at 6 p.m. right here in this very own auditorium. I think it will be a wonderful exposure opportunity and experience for our young people to come out and witness what we actually do for the State of the County address here in Rockdale County. Again, that's on Thursday, March 30th, right here. It's open to the public at 6 p.m., so we ask that you make a note of that, and if you all are available, we'd love to have you as our special guest, and so glad to have. Let's give Wilson Academy another round of applause this morning. Absolutely. Young people who are focused on their future and academic excellence, and we certainly do appreciate the leadership of Mr. Wilson. I want to move now to Chief Sanders. Chief Sanders, are there any pressing or pending announcements from your office that we need to make aware to our general public?
Good morning. Just wanted to mention that our stormwater department and planning and development departments have moved.
That's right.
So the address for stormwater is 1119 West Avenue, and planning and development is 1117 West Avenue. They're right next door to each other over by where elections is. Their phone numbers and emails have remained the same.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Planning and Development and our Stormwater Department have both moved to West Avenue. They've got much more space to operate, and we are making way for the future and future development right here with our own government complex and structure. So things are happening here in Rockdale County. Am I overlooking anything? All right, so now it's up to you. Executive Director Rutledge, is there any need for executive session this afternoon?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Tuesday. Thank you for coming out. You live in the best county in the state. I've always said there's only two kind of people, those that live in Rockdale and those that wish they lived in Rockdale. This meeting is adjourned.